My name is Carla. Standing in the middle of my art exhibition, surrounded by the soft glow of gallery lights and the hum of conversations, I never expected to see the last people I wanted to encounter. My sister, Lily, waddled in, visibly pregnant, with her husband, Ethan, trailing behind. They looked so out of place in this world of art and creativity that I had painstakingly built. Lily rushed towards me, arms outstretched. "Oh my God, Carla. We've been so worried about you. We flew in yesterday. Mom found your Instagram and has been going crazy trying to find you." Ethan just nodded at me, as if we were mere acquaintances. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my composure. "Lily, this is quite unexpected. This is my gallery opening, you know." She blinked, looking around at the photographs on the walls, the guests, and the price tags. "You did all this? Since when do you do this?" It was then that I realized how little they knew about me. For years, I had been the invisible one in the family, always there to help but never truly seen. Let me take you back to the beginning. I come from a well-to-do family in the suburbs of New York. My parents, Richard and Elizabeth, live in a large Victorian mansion with perfectly manicured lawns. Dad is a retired corporate executive, always proud of his achievements and the family's social status. Mom is a socialite who spends her days organizing charity events and maintaining our family's reputation. My sister, Lily, is 5 years younger than me. She married Ethan, a high-powered lawyer, and they have two lovely kids, a 6-year-old named Jake and a 4-year-old named Ava. They drive a fancy BMW that always gets the best parking spot in my parents' driveway, while my old Ford Focus is left on the street. I work as a part-time bookkeeper, mostly handling remote clients. It's a job with flexible hours, but a modest income, nothing to brag about in my family's eyes. But what they don't know is that I've been nurturing a secret passion for photography for the past 4 years. 4 years ago, my heart was broken. I had been in a relationship with Mark for 3 years. We talked about marriage and a future together. Then one day, he sat me down and said, "I love you, Carla, but I'm not in love with you anymore. You're just always there, like a piece of furniture." After he left, I wandered into an antique shop downtown. There, I saw an old Nikon DSLR camera. It was used, but in great condition, and it cost me a small fortune that I should have saved. But I bought it anyway. It became my secret, my escape. I started taking pictures of the overlooked and the forgotten. Homeless people on the streets, elderly folks sitting alone in parks. I called the series The Invisible Ones and created an anonymous Instagram account. Over the years, I gathered a small but dedicated following of 15,000 people who saw the beauty and the truth in my pictures. 3 weeks before my parents' 35th wedding anniversary party, I received an email from a gallery in San Francisco, Ocean View Gallery. They asked if I'd be interested in discussing my work. I stared at the email for a long time, thinking it was a mistake. Good things like this didn't happen to me. There's one person in my family who actually sees me, my Aunt Grace. She's my mother's younger sister. Mom always says Grace threw away her potential by becoming a painter and moving to a small beach town in California. But Grace is the happiest person I know. I've been calling Aunt Grace every Sunday for the past 6 years. She was the first one to see my photographs. When I sent her one of my pictures, she replied, "Carla, this is amazing. You have a real gift." She encouraged me to keep shooting and posting. 3 weeks before the anniversary party, she told me, "Carla, I sent your Instagram link to a gallery owner I know in San Francisco. His name is Henry Thompson. He's looking for new talent." It turned out that was the same gallery that had emailed me. That night, I replied to Henry's email. Now, back to the anniversary party. It was a grand event with 40 guests. I spent days helping out. I ordered the flowers, set the tables with my mother's expensive china, and coordinated with the caterer. On the day of the party, I arrived early in old jeans and a t-shirt, knowing I'd be in the kitchen all day. By evening, the house was filled with guests in their finest clothes. Lily arrived in a stunning red dress, with Ethan and the kids looking picture perfect. Mom rushed to greet them, showering them with compliments. At 9 p.m., Dad stood up and tapped his glass. "We have a surprise announcement. Next week, we're taking the whole family to the Maldives for a second celebration." Everyone clapped and cheered. I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe this time, I'd finally be included. I stepped forward and asked, "What time is our flight?" Dad's face changed. He glanced at Mom, and then he said, "Carla, you don't need to know. You're not going. Someone has to stay behind and take care of the kids." Mom added, "Lily and Ethan need a real vacation. You don't have anything important to do anyway." Lily just nodded, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. I stood there, holding a dirty plate, while everyone looked at me. I felt my heart break all over again. But deep down, I knew it was time for a change. That night, after the party, I found an email conversation between Mom and Lily on Mom's laptop. Mom had written, "Keep Carla here to watch the kids. She's like free help. She should be grateful we give her something to do." Lily replied, "Totally agree, Mom. It's kind of sad, but it works for us." I took screenshots and drove home. I sat in my small apartment, looking at the email from Henry on my phone. I called Aunt Grace, and she said, "Carla, I have a spare room above my art studio. I need help with the morning shift. And that gallery is just a short drive from here. You can leave. You can choose yourself for once." The next day, I told my family I was leaving for California. Mom was furious. "This is incredibly selfish, Carla. Family comes first." Dad said, "If you leave, don't expect us to welcome you back." But I didn't care. I packed my bags, took my camera, and drove away. The drive to California was long, but it was also liberating. Along the way, I took pictures of the beautiful landscapes, feeling like a free woman for the first time in my life. When I arrived at Aunt Grace's place, it was like a dream. Her art studio was in a charming beach town, and my room had a view of the ocean. I started working the morning shift at the studio, making coffee and chatting with customers. A few weeks later, I had a meeting with Henry at Ocean View Gallery. He was a kind, hearted man with a passion for art. He looked at my portfolio and said, "Carla, your work is extraordinary. I'd like to offer you a solo exhibition." 6 weeks later, here I am at my gallery opening. And now my family has shown up, not to celebrate me, but to drag me back to a life where I was invisible. Lily leaned closer and said, "Carla, I'm pregnant again. And I really need you to come home. Ethan's work is crazy and Mom isn't much help with the kids." I took a deep breath and said, "Lily, I'm happy for you, but I won't be coming back to be your free babysitter. This is my work, and it has value. I've been building this for years while you all assumed I had nothing important to do." The room fell silent. Ethan coughed uncomfortably, and Lily's eyes filled with tears. Then Henry started to clap, and soon the whole room was filled with applause. My parents tried to defend themselves, but the truth was out. They had treated me like staff, not family. I showed them the screenshots of the emails, and they were speechless. In the end, they left and I stayed. I'm not rich and I'm not famous, but I'm finally seen. My second exhibition is already in the works, and I'm looking forward to a future where I'm true to myself. As for my family, we're in a new place now. We exchange Christmas cards and the occasional text, but the relationship is different. I've learned that setting boundaries is not betrayal, it's self-love. And I'm finally living a life that I choose.